In this video, I'm going to show you how students ought to have answered question number 3 in the September 2022 exam paper for the subject Basic Finance examined by the Zambia Institute of Marketing. So in this video, I'm going to take you through question number 3. My name is Savoy and I'm a tutor. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. The 37 is numbers, 37, 37. Captain 37, and I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. If you need individual studies or me to help you through and run you through your lessons and prepare you for the exams, get in touch and my WhatsApp number is reflecting on the screen. Let's proceed straight into what question 3 was. This was question 3. It read, the trial balance of Lamek Munanduva was extracted from his records as at 31st March 2022. Inventory, which is stock at 31st March 2022, was 59,220, and information is given right over here. I wish to make mention that the way that I have put this information here is not how the information was asked on the exam. On the exam, an actual trial balance was given. For the purposes of exercise, for the purposes of revision and practice, I have manipulated the question because I want you to first and foremost prepare a trial balance. That was not part of the exam. That is part of what I want you to do. It's part of what I will show you how to do it. Now, with regards to the actual exam, students were required to do two things. A, to prepare the statement of profit or loss for the year ended 31st March 2022. 2022 it is, and that was for 10 marks. B, to prepare the statement of financial position, balance sheet, as at 31st March 2022. So let's start with the trial balance. This information over here, I need you to prepare a trial balance. And this, like I said earlier, is only for the purposes of exercising, for the purposes of you making sure that you know how to do a trial balance, and in case you have any challenge, you will know where to improve. So the first thing you always do with regards to any financial statement that you're preparing is you need to indicate the name of whose account it's going to be. Now, I foresee that I may not have adequate space right over here, so I am going to move these down a bit. Okay, so maybe I'll move this down a bit there. Okay, now, so you always start with the name of the account, and the name of the account here is Lamek Munanduva. Okay, and what is it that we're preparing? It is a trial balance. Okay, trial balance as at 31st March 2022. With that done, what I now need to do is to indicate which column is for debits, and this is going to be this one, and the column for credits, which is going to be this one. So I'm going to write there DR, which stands for debit, and here I'm going to write CR, which stands for credit. What I'm going to do is for each one of these items here and their corresponding figures, if the figure is under the debit and is supposed to be there, I will leave it there. If the figure is supposed to be a credit, I shall move it accordingly. Let's start with sales. Sales. Is sales a debit or sales a credit? Sales is a credit. Always sales is a credit. So I'm simply going to move it there. Okay, done that. Purchases. Purchases are debit, so they'll remain here. Rent is an expense, so it's a debit, it will remain here. Insurance is an expense, it will remain here. Wages and salaries, expense, debited. Inventory, debited. Business rates, debited. Premises, debited. Furniture, debited. Receivables, debited. Expenses, sundry expenses, debited. Payables are supposed to be credited. I'll move them right over there. Now, maybe the question or what I need to explain here is, what are receivables? And I would like to give you an example where you have a business that, for example, cleans environments. So you clean offices and you do those kind of things, like what Nemchem does. However, the companies that you clean for can only pay you at the end of the month. So you have worked and you are now expecting a payment. That work that has been done, the payment considered is what is known as a receivable. In like manner, a payable, which is over here, is when you have consumed of a service, but you have not paid for it. It is therefore going to be a liability and it is a payable. I thought I should mention that, and I hope that is clear. Then we have cash at bank. Cash at bank remains here because it is an asset. Drawings will remain right over here. Drawings are debited. Then we have motor vehicle. Motor vehicle right over here. 8,200. This is an asset. This is going to be debited. It's going to be under the debit column. Then we have capital. How much money we put into the business. This is going to be credited like that. Okay, so the totals of these should be equal to the totals of these. So when we add these figures that are under the debit section, we're going to find 247,000 kwacha. 247,000 kwacha. How about the credits? So what I'm going to do here is I'm simply going to use a formula quickly to find the sum of the numbers or the digits that are here, and indeed it gives me 247,000. It means that this is correct. This has balanced. On the exam, they may give you figures like I did, and they may ask you to construct a trial balance, or the figures may be mixed up and they may ask you to construct a trial balance. That should be something that with practice you can be able to do in less than 6 minutes. And in less than 6 minutes, you're good to go. Let's proceed and now look at how we prepare the statement of profit or loss. How do we prepare the statement of profit or loss? Same principle, that all the time you always need to start with the person's name. And in this particular case, Islamic. I will avoid reading the name, the last name. Okay, Munanduba. Munanduba. Okay, it's actually an easy name. Lamek Munanduba. What are we doing? We are preparing a statement. We are preparing statement of profit or loss for the year ended. For the year ended 31st March 2022. Yeah, for the year ended 31st March 2022. Good. So what do? We start with our sales. And how much were the sales? The sales, there it is. 11,000. Is this 11,000? No, this is 117,200 kwacha. 117,200 kwacha. That's the sales, okay? Next, we're going to indicate the cost of sales. The cost of sales, and one of the things that we need to put here is the opening stock. The opening stock is given to us. It's right over here. This one here. This is the opening stock. How do you know it's the opening stock? One of the ways of knowing is by looking at the date. The first of the month, meaning when you open or when you begin a new month, you begin with the stock that you possibly had the last month. So that's going to be your opening stock. And the opening stock in this particular case is this one, 26,400. We add purchases. Purchases, all this information is given to us in the trial balance. So purchases is right over here. That's what we're going to add. We're going to add purchases there, 70,650. Next, I'm going to less, meaning subtract the closing stock. The closing stock is given. It is right over here. That inventory stock at 31st March 2022 was 59,222. So 59,222, what am I going to do? Put it in brackets, 59,222, like that. So that's going to show that we are subtracting this particular figure. What are we going to do? We add these, and what we get is what we're going to put here. Okay, what we get is what we're going to put here. So what do you get if you add this plus this and you subtract that? What do you get? So let me pull out the calculator so that we do it together. Here's the calculator. There's 26400 plus 70650. That's what we get, 97,050 kwacha. Then from this, we subtract the 59220. What do we get? That amount, 37,830. So I'll write it right over here, 37,830. That's the amount. Now, when we subtract this from this, it's going to give us our gross profit. Our gross profit. When we subtract this from this, it gives us our gross profit. So it's going to be this, take away that, and that gives me 79,370. 79,370. What did you get? What did you get? Now let's proceed and take note of expenses. Expenses, like that. Okay, so what are the expenses in this particular case? The expenses, let's see, there's rent. So put rent right properly. There's rent. How much is rent? It's here. There we go. Include rent. What else? Insurance is also insurance is an expense. Okay, let me just do that properly. Insurance is an expense. There it is. Wages and salaries are expenses. Wages and salaries. I keep on moving these for the purposes of ensuring that the work is orderly presented. Okay, so that's fine. Wages and salaries, it is that amount, 31,700. What else? Business rates. Then there is business rates right over here. You can see this. This is business rates. So we'll include that, business rates. And business rates, it's how much? 1,900. There we go. What else? Premises, no. Furniture, no. Receivable, no. Sundry expenses. Sundry expenses. So I'll write sundry expenses right over here. And how much for the sundry expenses? For the sundry expenses is 200 kwacha. Okay. What other expenses? Payables, no. Bank, cash at bank, no. Drawings, no. Motor vehicle, no. So these are the ones. And so let's do total expenses. Okay. Total expenses. We'll put them here. It's these put together. Okay, the total expenses, when these put together, they give us our total expense, which I am going to sum up here quickly. Get these together. So this was the total expenses. Are we done? No. One more step. Net profit. And the net profit is a subtraction of the total expenses from the gross profit. Net profit is total expenses from gross profit. So in this case, it is this amount from this amount. So this is what it gives us. It is this, remember, it is going to subtract this. And the answer for net profit is 42,555. 42,555. And that's it. I'm now going to take you through how to prepare the statement of financial position. The statement of financial position. For this particular question, it was a requirement for students to prepare this under Part B, because there were two parts to the question. Part A, to prepare a statement of profit or loss, which we have just done, which is this one over here. And now we need to prepare the statement of financial position. We need to prepare the statement of financial position. And like always, we start by putting the name. It's Lamek Munandura. Lamek Munandura. And what are we doing? We clearly need to indicate that what we're preparing is a statement of financial position. Statement of financial position as at 31st March 2022. Now, the good part of what you just simply need to understand with regards to the statement of financial position, which is to be called the balance sheet, is you simply need to list down your assets, list down your liabilities, and I'll show you what else you need to do after that. So the simplest of approaches in this particular case, the simplest of the approach would be for you to list your assets. Okay, for you to list your assets. So what assets do you have, and where do you get this information? You get this information from the trial balance.